John, are you on the line?
I am. Everybody,
Thanks for joining
another
us
thumbs
today.
up. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect. So our format for that is gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna do a little Q&A today with you. So John, Rohrbach is known for all kinds of great brews. I mean, you can go there and there is literally something for everyone. But what was the first beer you brewed and where did you brew it?
Well, I guess we'll get right into this. Julie, if you don't mind, first of all, I want to thank you for asking me today. It's an honor to be here. I want to say one really quick thing because I'm kind of involved in the tourist industry, as I think we all are. Don said really quick how much he appreciates all that you guys do. I just wanted you to be aware that there's organizations like Visit Rochester and other cities. Any city that has tourism has an organization that promotes tourism, but very, very few. Some might have kind of a volunteer organization like the VIC, but very, very few have the kind of support, and it's amazing, the membership, the committees, and how much you do for our city. So I just wanted to start out, I will answer your question, but I want to start out by thanking everyone for all that you do, and it helps us a lot. So back to your question. I hope most of you know Rohrbach's, but the very first beer that we did was our Highland Lager, and that's still one we brew today. So this year, 2021, we're going to be celebrating 30 years. When I first kind of got the idea of the brewery, I enjoyed a beer. It was called New Amsterdam. People probably don't remember it. It was out of the New York City area. A pretty famous brewer had done it. And it was what I would call a crossover product, because at the time, no one really understood craft beer that well 30 years ago. They were used to drinking domestic beers. So we wanted to make something that wasn't too hoppy, too dark, too heavy, too strong, just something that someone could take from what they were used to and get into craft. And Highland Lager was it. We've probably tweaked it over the years, but it's pretty much the same beer as we brewed 30 years ago.
And where did you brew that?
Oh, we brewed that. Well, you mentioned the German house. So it really was at the German house. I mean, we did some recipes at home. I was a home brewer before I got started, but in the basement of the German house, which the Buddha pub, I think, was the last thing that was there. And actually, before Rohrbach's moved in, it was a winery. I don't remember it, but we found that space and we were in the South Wedge for 10 years. And it was really, it was a great 10 years. Without the support of customers in the Wedge and around Rochester, we certainly would not be here today. So it was great.
So I know that you presented to our group before, but when you were home brewing, what was your day job at the time?
Oh, actually, I worked at Kodak when I graduated from St. Bonaventure a long time ago. I don't want to tell you how long ago, but I started with Kodak, and I was very lucky, actually. Kodak moved me around a bunch, and I think for those of you who have only lived in Rochester, I hope you love it as much as I do. But for those of you that have come to the city or moved elsewhere, I think you appreciate it even more. I lived in Southern California for a while, a year in Chicago, a couple years in New York, and then you had mentioned, Julie, that I lived in Germany for a few years. But I can tell you very sincerely, this is not just, I'm not just saying it for this group, but I wouldn't want to live anywhere else other than Rochester, New York. And I think I appreciate it more because Kodak moved me around.
That's awesome. I love how people who work for Kodak have like really reshaped this community. You see so many stories of that.
Yeah.
My next question to you is, how long was that seed in your mind that you wanted to become a master brewer and take the craft brew worlds by storm before you dived in?
You know, Julie, you're being so kind with some of these comments about taking things by storm, and even a master brewer. But I can tell you, opening a brewery, I knew when I told you I graduated from St. Bonaventure, I knew right away even when I was in college that I really wanted to have my own company. I didn't really know what it would be. There were just little seeds. When I was in California, I lived in Southern, but I visited Northern California. When I was in San Francisco, I went to the Anchor Brewery and tried some of their beer. And that was after drinking cheap beer for a long time, or let's not call it cheap beer, I'm sorry. But in college, that's all I could afford. Let's call it domestic beer. And then I finally had an Anchor Steam, and I just thought it was just fantastic. It was something that was really crazy and delicious for me. And then when I was in New York, I visited the Manhattan Brewery, and that the idea started to come around that maybe upstate New York could use a brewery. And then after being in the beer capital of the world, which was Germany, and when I landed back in Rochester and there wasn't any craft breweries at the time, that's what really solidified the idea. But it really wasn't too many years before we started.
So from the German house, you opened not one, but two successful restaurant locations. Was that a scary leap, or was it part of the dream and part of the plan all along?
That's a great question too. I always tell this one story. I'll just tell it really quick. I was working for Bill Petzos, if anybody knows him, but Bill had Ozzy's or Oscars before that. For those of you that have been in Rochester for a while, I was one of the general managers. I told Bill I wanted to get my own restaurant, and he told me how crazy I was, nuts. Don't even think about it. You're crazy to even consider it. And then he got in his brand new, beautiful, full-size Mercedes and drove off. And I always thought that, well, it can't be that bad a thing. But I have to tell you, Julie, it's a struggle, but I love it. And it wasn't really part of the plan. When I first decided to open a brewery back 30 years ago, craft beer was just not something that was easily, you couldn't knock on Wegmans' door and say, hey, I've got great packaging and great liquid and great beer, put me on your shelves. We opened the restaurant in order to bring people in. We thought if we served them good food and then let them try our beer, that would be a way to get started. So I got in the restaurant business a little reluctantly, and now I'm extremely happy that we are. And really, the second location and the location on Railroad Street was really just that evolution. I believe I didn't want to grow 100% in a year or become necessarily a national company, but I did want to be a growing local brand. And that all kind of came with the territory. It was just, what was that next step that would allow us to keep growing? And we've been very, very lucky with the locations we've opened.
Yeah, they're both unique and they're both really great. But Rochester brews or Rohrbach's brews can be purchased all over New York State now, and you even do contract brewing for other restaurants. Is that correct? Where does that fall in your timeline?
When we were clearly at the German house, if anybody was there, the brewery was very, very small. We only had a few accounts. I was always proud of the fact that Red Wing Stadium, that the old Red Wing Stadium before Frontier Field was one of them, which was kind of amazing. And we had like maybe 2 bars. It was a tiny little brewery. Buffalo Road, when we moved out there, it gave us the capacity to take on a few more wholesale accounts. But not until 2008, when we moved into our building on Railroad Street by the public market, were we really able to expand and get distributors throughout the state, get on Wegmans shelves and Tops and Beers of the World and in other restaurants and stuff. So the brewery that we built, again, on Railroad Street or moving into our building, really launched those expanded sales.
So you also do collaborations with other local businesses like Kettle Ridge Farms for some of their maple, Black Button Distilling. Why do you think local collaborations are so important?
Well, it's a funny thing. We all have lived through this crazy pandemic for the last, I don't know, almost a year now. And everybody says, wow, we're so focused on local. I think it happened way before that. I think the pandemic has kind of brought it home and solidified it for a lot of people. But people do want to support local. It's been great for our sales. Even this year, been a very, very challenging year. But the commitment that people have to buy local is great. And the energy that other entrepreneurs that are small local businesses bring to a collaboration just brings kind of magic to the whole formula. And it does really well. And we do it with breweries. Sometimes it makes sense to just kind of look at a brewery that might do something a little different than we do. And we do the collaboration. But sometimes it's totally outside of what we're doing. Maybe it's a coffee, someone that makes local coffee or local chocolate. And honestly, the collaborations that we've done, we've learned from their staff and our customers have enjoyed it. And we've always just taken steps forward. We love doing collaboration, especially with local folks.
I love that. I also love that I understand correctly that you've grown hops behind the brew house? I know hops are not an easy thing. Are you looking to expand on that at all?
As soon as I get somebody to learn how to weed other than me, because Julie, you're right. It's a lot of work. I love it. I really did it, honestly. And I can't even remember who told me this. Well, we have 5 acres of land out at Buffalo Road, and I was going to do it way out back just to not kind of mess up the lawn area and stuff. And somebody told me, no, bring it right out by the parking lot. So when customers pull in, hops are very unique. We have these big 18-foot poles and they grow up the poles and stuff. I I put a lot of work into that. And I have to tell you, that's a source of relaxation for me. But we have 60 plants. It gives me enough for hops for one brew. And it's a lot of work. And I love the hops farmers that put all the effort in. Like Julie, I love farming, but I could never do it on a big scale. So I think we're going to stick with the 50 plants and or 60 plants and buy from our hops farmers.
Two last questions. You're Rochester's oldest craft brewery. You kicked off the movement here in Rochester and put us on the map. But what keeps you passionate and excited about going to work every single day?
You know, people point out the fact that we're the oldest, and it only makes me feel old, but I am proud of that. And I have to tell you, I'm sure you've heard this from others, but it's really, really true in our case. The people that I work with, the staff here at Rohrbach's, the folks that, I'm involved in, even with VIC and other organizations, the passion they have. Most of the folks that work here at Rohrbach's, honestly, are significantly younger than me. Starting to think most of the world is significantly younger than me. But their passion and what they do and the excitement that they bring, the growth that we feel, the innovation that we're striving to do, the teamwork that we have, I truly, truly love it. And, one thing too is we're successful. I'm not battling a really hard battle. Again, and I totally give credit to the staff and what they're doing, and the marketing and the sales team, the brewing team. I think we have the best brewery team and restaurant staff in the city. So it's a pleasure to come work every day, but it's mostly because of the people I work with.
Yeah, good staff is invaluable for sure.
Yeah.
One last question for you. What Rohrbach's beer would pair well with, let's say, Special Touch Bakery's chocolate cream pie?
Okay, well, actually, Julie, that's a great question. And the one thing I love about craft beer is that it's not just a lawnmower beer where on a hot summer day when you're cutting the lawn, you grab a Labatt or whatever. It pairs so well with food, and it even pairs well with dessert. So for me, a chocolate, anything with chocolate in it, our vanilla porter would go really well. Vanilla porter has a roasted flavor, almost like coffee, and coffee goes great with a pie too. And then Donna pointed out that blueberry pie, and of course, Rohrbach's blueberry ale would go really well with that.
Okay, so I think everyone knows what dessert is for the game this coming weekend. So go grab your pie, go grab your brew, and surprise your family. Anything else that you want to say to us, John?
No, I appreciate the opportunity, and I can tell you, we look at this very closely. Rohrbach's and the restaurant industry has struggled tremendously. I see not only a little bright light in the future, or that we've turned the corner, I see this big, bright, beaming light just around the corner. I don't know how far around the corner, but I think there's a lot of pent-up demand. And the fact that the restaurants, even our downtown location, switched from orange to yellow and is now open, and we are inviting guests back in very safely, socially distanced. That's a huge step forward for us. And I hate to even say it and point out the numbers, because I don't want to jump the gun, but I just think we've turned the corner, and I'm very optimistic. I hope tourists will come back. I think there's pent-up demand to go to restaurants, to go to breweries, to go to distilleries, to go to hotels. I'm looking forward to a really, really great year. So thank you for having me today. People, feel free. I'm going to be on, so feel free to chat if you have any questions for me. And thank you again for having me.
I think they're asking for a peanut butter ale. I think I see that in the chat. So put that on your radar. You might have a couple buyers. Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it. Yours was actually the first name that popped into my head when I was thinking Seeds of Growth. We're lucky to have you here with VIC because you are always so giving with us. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Julie. Good luck.
I think I was reading too. Isn't tomorrow the big release for your Instruments of Destruction? I love the name. I'm just going to go buy it because I love the name, which I was reading is a black wheat wine with flavors of hazelnut and orange blossom honey. Is that correct still?
That is correct, and it is tomorrow. The cans are chilling in the fridge, in our cooler, ready to be shipped out, and you can pick some up here at Rohrbach's if you like. And I hope you like the beer as well as the name.
Very cool. Thank you so much. How exciting.
Cheers.
Okay, so moving right along. Next, I want to introduce to you and bring Jessica Conley onto this big screen. Jess is your VIC 2021 Vice Chair, and she will be your chairperson next year. Jess has been active in the hospitality industry for over 10 years and currently is at the Hampton Inn and Suites, Rochester, Henrietta. Jess is also the queen of Zoom background, so it's all you, Jess.
And not the queen of finding the mute button to unmute myself. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be mentored by Julie as the vice chair this year, and then kind of make the next adventure in 2022 with all of you. So I'm also super excited to kind of introduce a new program that Elena Oyer will talk about in just a quick moment. It's an overview about the Rock Refresher program. I really feel like it's beneficial and encourage a lot of folks to consider signing up for this virtual member refresher session. I've been an active member for several years now, kind of started out just at attending the meetings, then joining committees, chairing committees, and now on steering committee and sitting in this fancy chair as the second in command, if you will. But I know I could still use a refresher on the benefits and how to get the most out of my company's Visit Rochester membership. So Elena, I am going to pass the mic to you, and I'm hoping to see as many of you as possible on February 2nd. Elena, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. Congratulations to Jess and Julie. We look forward to a great and exciting year. Rock Refresher, I see a few folks on the call here today that have maybe taken a Rock Refresher. Pre-COVID, we had in-person Rock Refresher at our office on 45 East Avenue. We hope to get back to in-person Rock Refresher sessions, but excited and really thrilled to be able to offer a virtual platform. As Jess mentioned, it's a great opportunity for not only our new members, we realize we have some members that may have changed responsibilities within their organization, maybe changed organizations, but we want to make sure you understand all that you can get out of your Visit Rochester membership. We really believe in our membership program. We, support all of you and appreciate your support, especially in the last year, and want to make sure that we're starting 2021 on our best foot forward and are answering your questions, keeping you engaged and keeping you updated. There are so many things that are happening in not only our community, but with, our organization. And not only will we give you the updates on your membership benefits, but also that crazy system you've heard about, the extranet, that some folks are intimidated by, and we don't want you to be intimidated. It's super easy to log in and share your special offers, share your special events, both virtual and hopefully in person as we move forward in 2021, as well as hear from the staff and learn about, upcoming lead responses with our services department. So it's a great chance to connect with folks on Visit Rochester, as well as the steering committee. There isn't a free pie or Rohrbach beer yet that I know of. If there could be some great prizes, but it's going to be a refreshing and delicious exchange of information for an hour on February 2nd, 10 o'clock. And again, it's for members, both new and those who are looking to get re-engaged and restart it for 2021. Any questions, certainly let me know. I know we have some folks here that are considering membership. Certainly reach out. We'd love to have you get on board and share more about these benefits. And I think someone put it in the chat. So thank you. And yeah, so any questions, let me know. ElenaO@visitrochester.com. And thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, Elena. I appreciate that. I know that I'm gonna go ahead and sign up for that because there's always something you can learn from every meeting. And it's also great, like new employees or employees who haven't done that, to get them on board so they can take some of the work off your shoulders if you're in the middle of it. So I think next we're moving on to Greg LaDuca, and he'll be talking about the 2021 VIC committees and task forces. Greg?
Thanks so much, Julie. I know that we're going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for signing up for VIC committees and task forces 2021. And I just hope that we can build on the momentum from 2020. Those of you that have been with us for a while and through last year, you recall that last year at this time, we had a meeting dedicated to committees and task forces. We had our members move through different tables and engage with the committee chairs and staff liaisons, talk about the committee and the work that was going to be done. And then it was March 17th and everything hit the cutting room floor, if you will. And so staff took the opportunity to retool the committees and task forces, and we really saw increased engagement through that time, like-minded people sharing best practices and ideas to help forward their business to really know that they're not in it alone. And so for this year, and the Visit Rochester staff, after completing our business plan, Visit Rochester staff took the time to create this new run of committees and task forces. You'll see that some are a continuation from last year and some are brand new for 2021. But please take this time as I roll through them. Members are encouraged to sign up for as many committees and task force as you'd like. We understand that if you would like to come in and learn more about it before you make a commitment, we certainly understand that. But please, if something interests you, please sign up so you start to receive the communications and you can get engaged and find out what works best for yourself. Another thing that I'll remind you is, as I mentioned in the beginning, membership is open to your entire staff. And I know Elena always will frown when I say this, but it is true that if you have 10 people on your staff, they're all members of the Visitor Industry Council and can take advantage of these committees and task forces. If you're part of the University of Rochester, thousands and upon thousands of staff members have the opportunity to engage with Visit Rochester if they so choose. So please, if you have someone on your staff that you want to see grow within their current position or increase their network, these are a great opportunity for you. So I'm just going to roll through quickly. You can certainly read these at your leisure, and you'll see that the form that Rachel has up for us includes the sign-up form. But something new for this year is the New York State Association Task Force. And that will focus on the Albany market and create or maintain the wonderful presence that Rochester has in the Albany market. So this is really geared towards those within the hotels and the event industry that can benefit from New York State Associations meeting and convening in the Rochester area. And so Alicia, I spent over 15 years working with the New York State Association market, so I can say with experience how much fun that can be. And so I hope that you enjoy that committee this year. Next is the Local Contact Advisory Council. And this is open to all members. And this is a think tank approach that will supplement our Recommend Rochester program. And it's really created to utilize your mind and your resources as members to touch those with influence in the Rochester area to bring their meeting or conference or event to the Rochester area. And as this builds throughout the course of the year and things open up, it will include making presentations and planning and executing events of related programs, but very important work of Visit Rochester. And we'll always say Visit Rochester doesn't have the corner on good ideas, and that's why we need you, and that's why these committees are so successful, is because we need your minds as well. Something new for 2021, Accessibility Rochester Committee will work on the pillars of inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And this again is open for all members, whether this is something you work on for your organization or you feel that your organization needs to focus more on inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. This would be a fantastic place for you to spend some time to learn more about what's currently being done and what can be done to further this within Rochester to better have Visit Rochester better represent the fabric of our community. So please read more on that. And you can see for all of these, you do have staff liaison and or chair people in place at this time who you can contact if you have additional questions. Next is a continuation of the Events Enhancement Committee. John Tassone did a wonderful job last year of, sorry, Rachel, taking this committee on a pivot through the pandemic. And as you can see, through the first and second quarter, this committee will be for those that are in the events industry, whether you work for a venue or you plan events, to talk about the current regulations and how to maneuver through them. And then as we work through the second half of 2021, we'll really refocus on formulating actions that can enhance events that we are hosting in the Rochester area. Tour and Travel Committee is a wonderfully successful committee, and I'm looking forward to having you all hear Diana's update on their recent activities. But those of you that benefit from tour buses, the tours that come to the Rochester area, this committee is for you, whether you work at a hotel, a restaurant, or a venue that, or attraction that it welcomes groups. That is their focus, and the focus this year will be continuing to communicate with the tour operators to remind them that Rochester is a wonderful place to book when the time is right. So if you're in the tour and travel industry, it's certainly something for you. Membership Engagement Committee is a continuation of last year, and Maureen Hill's wonderful work with What's on Your Plate. This year, there will be a meeting, and Maureen, feel free to put some details in the chat about a meeting this Friday to talk about how the Membership Engagement Committee can take the actions of 2020 and further them through 2021, through virtual meetings to eventually in-person events. But this committee is certainly for everyone, all members, whether you fashion yourself an expert networker, or if you want to expand your network and increase your networking skills, this is a great place to be to help Visit Rochester engage with our members and also attract new members to membership and the Visitor Industry Council. Rock for a Reasons is one of my favorites with Meredith Howie, and this is just a collection of members, any and all members who want to give back. Meredith and the committee last year identified different events that they could support, whether it was collecting things in need or you know, eventually in person, supporting local charities and events, basically giving back to the community. And so again, if you are looking to give back and you're not sure how, this is a great place. Or if you are a not-for-profit and you are in need of support, certainly a great place to spend some time on the committee to share your knowledge and expertise as well. Certainly looking for time and talent in this Rock for a Reason task force. Attractions task force, thank you, Rachel. is just that. It's for specifically our See and Do segment of our membership, or one of our largest segments, to again share best practices and knowledge and networking as they and we all look to recover and reopen. And so this committee staff liaison is Rachel Labro-Provino again this year. They had wonderful attendance last year, really got a lot of work done and really sharing information, which was so vital and valuable to those that attended. So if you are a traction, or again, if someone on your staff you think could benefit from logging on to these 45 to an hour calls once a month with the Attractions Task Force, please share the information. Social Media Committee is, as it says, this is a very successful and continuing committee. This year, Nina Piccini has already hit the ground running to chair that committee, along with staff liaison Chelsea Wernick. So whether you are in charge of social media for your organization, or you just want to learn more about navigating social media in the current climate, this committee is a collaborative network focused on education, discussion, and best practices, sharing case studies in an area that is really ever changing throughout, and I'm certain throughout the course of 2021. And lastly, because we at Visit Rochester are continuing to move forward, the Frontline Training Task Force is no exception. Looking to the future, when we're welcoming visitors back to town, our frontline staff is going to need a refresher as well on the best way to make sure visitors have a good time and want to come back. And so we continue to create, and we will be completing the e-learning modules throughout the first quarter of 2021. And I'm asking for folks on the front lines, managers on the front lines, to join me here to take a look at that e-learning program, help us finalize it, and then roll it out so we can maximize engagement once it's in place. And so those are your committees and task forces for 2021. Again, we have 90 folks on the call right now. We will be putting this out in member communications. We'll put it on the Facebook forum that hopefully you're all a member of a closed group on Facebook by VIC members, for VIC members. So we'll continue to share this, and you can join committees and task forces at any time. They're open throughout the course of the year. And I will encourage any committee chair or staff liaison that has information to share right now, please put it in the chat and also share it on that Facebook forum so we reach a large audience of members throughout the course of this year, and we continue to have our committees and task forces be successful. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Greg. You know, despite the world we're living in right now, which can seem crazy, in the pandemic, I know is just taking a toll on everyone's just like state of mind. It really has spurred some ingenuity, especially like my favorite last year was What's on Your Plate. So just the new stuff that has come up from this really is kind of awesome. And, you know, we can reach, like, you don't have to go to a meeting. We realize we don't have to go to a meeting. Sometimes it's hard to leave the office, and we can, you know, do something on lunch or on a break and still be able to connect. And we're still seeing each other. So I think it's really great. And thanks to Visit Rochester staff for keeping these things going. Next up, though, is staff updates. And these are important every month. It's what Visit Rochester is doing for us, the membership. And I think, Wendy Ford, do you want to start?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Wendy Ford here in the sales department. I think I'm going to start by sharing in John Urlaub's optimism that we are nearing the end, as the sales department has been very busy this month, generating 8 leads so far. And so we still have 2 more weeks to go. So that's positive news. And we're super excited as we continue to move forward into the future. Let's see, some of the other things the team has been working on. We are working on an infographic right now for National Vacation Day, which is January 26th. Since we can't really vacation anywhere, we thought we would share our favorite staycation spot in Rochester. So we are creating an infographic that will go out to over 650 planners and event holders on the 26th. We are also very busy creating a good news video for an upcoming virtual NPI Not So Gala that will be held in March, and just bringing to their membership some good news that's happening in our world here. And the other thing that I wanted to put a shout out to was I'd like to congratulate Alicia Gazda on our team for receiving a nominee for the Rising Star Award through ESSA, which is the Empire State Society of Association Executives, which is the committee that she will be hosting. So we're very proud of her. And I think I'm going to leave it at that, but it's so good to see everyone.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks.
Rachel, do you want to go next?
Sure thing. Thanks so much, Julie. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope you are doing well and staying safe. So in the communications world at Visit Rochester, we are very eagerly planning for later this year. As other speakers have alluded, we definitely, I love, John, the way you put it. We know there's light at the tunnel. We don't know quite how far away that end of the tunnel is, but it's there. So we're eagerly planning for later in the year, and we're going to have a really aggressive strategy in place to make sure that as soon as it is safe to really welcome hordes of visitors again, that we are going to be on the front line of attracting them and welcoming them back. And another silver lining is I'm excited to share I'm participating in a virtual media marketplace next week. So over the course of 3 afternoons next week, we're going to have up to 40 appointments with travel writers and bloggers from around the world. I'm sure there'll be a lot of just checking in and asking people how they're doing, how they fared over this last year, but really excited to share some of the exciting things that are happening. You know, there are still new businesses opening up. There's wonderful new exhibits happening at our museums, incredible outdoor activities. So the timing's never been better to visit Rochester. And also in terms of content, we are right now creating a lot of new content for our website, some of which is focused on winter activities. We're working on a new blog post detailing the new mercantile on Maine. I think our friend Ken Green is on the call. And then we are also really trying to be very supportive of our restaurants that have, especially those who recently reopened on social media. So you'll see us continuing to share news of those restaurants that have reopened. And again, our mantra is whether you dine in or take out, support a local Rochester restaurant. I know we do take out every weekend in our household, and hopefully you are able to do the same. You'll also notice in ongoing communications from Visit Rochester, we will continue to share PPP information as it's available. As you guys may know, last week, the second round of PPP loans did reopen. So ultimately, if you do have any questions regarding PPP and what you're eligible for, you should go to your financial institution. But if there's anything that we can help with or answers we can try to help hunt down for you, please let us know. We're happy to do so. And also just on the digital front, we are continuing to run a search campaign with one of our agency partners that's been going really well. And that ensures that as people are starting to think about traveling again and they are thinking about planning a trip, whether they're based here in New York State or, you know, broader in the Northeast, that we are serving up our content and our website top of mind for them. So it's going to be a great year. Excited to see you all virtually and looking forward to working with you all this year. Thanks so much, Julie.
Thank you. You guys are so busy. Diana, are you ready to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. We are off to a busy start for January. The 2021 Visit Rochester business plan was approved by the board of directors at the end of last year. So if you would like a copy of that, I've just popped my email into the chat. So just send me a note and we'll get you a copy of that. The next media flight of our family marketing campaign, Come Play in Our Backyard, launched on January 11th, encouraging families to plan now, play later. And that will run through Valentine's Day. We're outlining plans for the remainder of the year, including a new Canadian campaign to align closely with the border reopening whenever that will be, hopefully sooner rather than later. And we are also working on a new general awareness campaign highlighting Rochester and the Finger Lakes. As Greg alluded to earlier, we hosted a virtual wine and chocolate tasting earlier this month for tour operators in the Northeast with the help of Karen Dotson and Dotson Destination. So if Karen is on the line still, thank you so much again for your help with that event. It was a great opportunity to touch base and keep Rochester top of mind. And some of the operators are even looking to recreate the event for their clients. From a travel trade standpoint, we are also preparing for the virtual Heartland Travel Show. When the appointment bookings opened, we had 28 requests out of 32 appointment slots of people waiting to meet with us. So we're looking forward to that event next month. And thank you to Emily Foe from the RIT Inn and Conference Center, who will be attending on our behalf. To dovetail with our new Accessibility Rochester VIC Committee, Visit Rochester is pursuing a first of its kind industry certification through a group called Travel Unity. And it is a certification surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion. So more to come on that. We're excited to be embarking on that program with just a handful of other destinations from around the world. I think there's about six other destinations that are part of that pilot program. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate ever to reach out. We look forward to working with all of you in 2021, and go Bills.
That would be so much fun. That would be the start of a good year if they did win this weekend. Before I go on to the rest of the staff, I just put in the chat, 30-second announcements are going to be coming up. So if you want to be called on and you have an event coming up in the next month, just put it right on there. Myself or Jess will be sure to call you. There are still things going on, especially museums. If any museums are on here, I just have plans for Thursday to go to the Warhol exhibit, and I can't wait to go with my mom. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. Next staff update is Amanda Fox.
Hi, everybody. Happy 2021. Looking forward to this year. And Amber and I are working hard with a number of groups that are still planning for this summer, as well as this fall. We do have a number of groups that are moving forward. Yes, smaller numbers, as you can imagine, but we're looking forward to being creative and getting some new services out there this year. So if you're interested or have any questions on special offers, special events, anything like that, in regards to groups, please reach out to Amber and I anytime. Looking forward to working with everyone this year. Thanks.
And Greg, I think that leaves you.
Okay with that. You have heard a lot about what's going on in membership and visitor services already. We are working hard on Rock Refresher member orientation. Hopefully you will sign up for that, share that with your associates as well, because we have no maximum in our room for this meeting. So please feel free to sign up for that. You also heard a little bit about through the committee and our e-learning program that we hope to have completed by the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. Elena and I are also working with the team on enhancing our relocation lead benefits and how we interact with those that are looking to visit Rochester as they look to relocate to Rochester. So more to come on that. But some good news for the first 19 days of January. We have welcomed 3 new members already this year. Rochester Economic Development Corporation is a new member. So welcome to Tracy Williams and his team. North Star Real Estate, Dexter Craig, welcome to you. We look forward to engaging with you. And also Cobblestone Country Club is a new member this week, and we welcome Amy Santini and her team, and we look forward to working with you on and off the golf course. So thanks very much for your time, and go Bills.
Thanks, Greg. I just want to convey my personal observations that the Visit Rochester staff is working so incredibly hard. And because I'm chair this year, I was lucky enough to get the invite for when Diana had the pairing and tastings with the tour operators. I think it was just right after New Year's, and it was so incredibly well done. I learned so much about wine and why we can in New York State call champagne, but nobody else can except France. It was very well done, and the tour operators were very receptive and complimentary towards the event. So they are working really hard for us, and I just want to say kudos to all of them and thank you very, very much. So I think we can move on to 30-second announcements. We're moving right along. First one that was in the chat was Melissa Mueller Douglas. Melissa, do you want to go?
I would love to. Thank you so much. I'm Melissa, founder of My Retreat, where mindfulness and gratitude meet. I'm on a mission to reach 1 million professionals with self-care practices because I believe self-care is a necessity. And with chocolate mindfulness, it's luxurious. So on February 6th, we're offering a chocolate mindfulness retreat to slow down and schedule self-care to connect with your mind, body, and breath, as well as our now second couples retreat happening on February 27th. We've been around for 3.5 years and look forward to seeing you there. I'll drop the ticket information in the chat. Thank you so much.
Melissa, you're so soothing. I feel like I can relax now.
Oh, thank you. And I love that we began the whole meeting talking about football because I actually did a chocolate mindfulness video with a chocolate football just earlier today. So it's fun.
Make sure you put that in the chat, and you guys, the chat usually gets saved. So if you have any questions or you missed something, we can always go back to it later. Next one would be Brittany Brandt from the Penthouse at 1 East.
Hey y'all, and Julie, you're crushing it already. I'm looking so forward to seeing what you do with this year. Hey everybody, Brittany Brandt with the Penthouse at 1 East Avenue. We are back finally, and out of the restrictions that have kept us closed for a little bit. But we've got some great stuff coming up in February. Our Wind Down Wednesdays are going to start kicking back off again, which we have great music at the Penthouse. And then we have 2 events in February for Valentine's weekend. I've put the links up in the chat for the 14th and the 15th. We're proud to partner with Brown Hound Bistro to do a brunch, and then we also have a Valentine's Day event too. And we're also working with Heron Hill Winery, so we're just bringing as many local businesses as we can together, and look forward to seeing you at the Penthouse.
Thanks, Brittany. You look like you got tan when you were down south for Christmas.
A little bit.
A little jealous. Richard Cobb, you looked like you have an announcement.
Well, more than an announcement, it's a request for the displays where we show the members brochures and such. I would like to see if possibly we could get away from putting dates on the brochures, because especially in the times we're in, if we're unable to update them quickly, they start looking out of date. We have some that are just 2019s, in fact, that are on display. So if you can avoid putting them, if you have brochures, and also if you can make sure that the name of your business is at the top so that they don't get hidden in the brochure rack. I just request those things if possible. And if you do come up with an updated brochure, just kind of change the cover front a little bit. We'll catch that and make sure that your most up-to-date brochures are on display. Thanks.
That's a great idea. We at Stokey Farms always do that because Suzanne doesn't like dating things, so she can't use it the next year. So, you know, now she's trending, the thing that always made me crazy. But that's a great point. Michael Hardy, are you on the line? There's exciting stuff going down in Watkins Glen.
Always a hearty hello, my VIC family. I typed so fast I put VOC family. Think of those initials as you will, whatever that may mean. Congratulations, Julie. Very excited for you in the VIC. Agritourism, that's where it's at in Schuyler County, Monroe County, right? Agritourism. Go to the website, explorewatkinsglen.com. The big thing down here is the light show at Castle Grish. It's a drive-through experience, $20 for a card load and 20 minutes or more, unless you go for adult Jello parfaits and wine in the winery. Thanks, everybody. Be well and safe. Go Bills.
I think it's great. Take a ride down to Watkins Glen. It's beautiful this time of year, going through the hills, drive down. So, and that's really exciting because it could be something to do for sure. And for the adults, Kat Bell has cocktail kits. Kat? Is she on the line?
Hey, I'm here. Hi guys, how are you? Having a bad hair day, so I did the video off. But yeah, I put in, we have some fun cocktail kits, and we do free delivery in Monroe County and even a little bit outside of Monroe County. So if you're kind of hanging around the house and want a cocktail kit delivered this weekend or next weekend, stop by our website.
Awesome. And I think we're all believing, is that the term for it? So we're all gonna need cocktails for the Super Bowl, right? Small private. What a year. Does anybody else have their hand raised that I didn't catch? Go ahead and come on the line. Okay. And I was told by Greg that I skipped over, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Greg, are you on the line? I skipped over steering announcements, is that correct?
Oh, we do have some steering updates, if you'd like to give those.
Me personally?
Oh, did I not send you the
Not that I saw, so take it away.
the show must go on. Okay, so steering committee, as you've heard today, steering committee is a representation of the membership. We look for volunteers to work with Julie and with Jess to represent the 6 segments of our membership. And the main job would be to help create and plan for these monthly meetings and be an advocate for the Visitor Industry Council and for Visit Rochester. And so currently we have an opening in the sleep segment as Jess Conley has moved from steering rep to vice chair. And so we have one opening in the sleep segment or in the hotel segment that's open immediately. And so if you'd like to nominate yourself or someone you know for the steering committee, please feel free to contact Julie or myself. If you have additional questions on the commitment and the timing that it takes to be part of steering committee, again, reach out to Julie or myself and we can let you know. And just as we look into 2021 and as we look down the road in the second quarter of this year, we are going to be having openings in the services segment, those that provide services to visitors to the Rochester area. Could be transportation, could be a variety of service-based businesses, florists, and so on. And so that opening will come early this summer, as well as the shop segment. Shop segment is, as it sounds, represents shopping, as our friend Sue Maddock will be vacating that position. And so if you have any questions about steering committee, again, let Julie or myself know, but it's a great way to get to know your segment better, network with them, and really help shape these meetings and make them as successful as they are. So please consider that, nominate yourself or someone you know. Thank you.
And when we do get back together, Greg usually buys us muffins.
That's true, at least, or breakfast pizza. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate what Rachel said before about eating in restaurants. I sat through Senator Jeremy Clooney's, he had like a Facebook Live today with John Swan and Kelly from Selena's and one of their employees. And it just once again hit home that the restaurant industry is struggling. The safety net is gone. You know, the restaurant industry supports so many other industries. It's the guy that cleans the windows, the guy that cleans your kitchen hoods and the grease traps, and the guy that delivers the food and stuff. So really, if you are able to, I really want to encourage everyone to take out, if you feel safe, go in and eat, but supporting our restaurants, especially ones that you don't normally go to. You know, my local pizza place is fine. I need to make sure that I'm venturing further into the city to help the restaurants that I wouldn't normally think about getting takeout for or just going to eat necessarily. I'm all for hashtagging not cooking dinner at least twice this week. So I hope you feel the same way and support our community because they really are so important to us. But that about wraps up everything. I just want to say I'm so lucky. I got so many wonderful text messages and emails today from you guys supporting me in my first meeting. I hope I did a good job. I hope you found it interesting and engaging. And I didn't get to respond to everyone because I was prepping, but you filled my heart with joy. So thank you so much. So at this point, if you're doing dry January, get your mocktail. If not, grab your cocktail. We're gonna do purple bag prizes here. Don't forget to fill out that survey. I think Chelsea's put it in the chat. If she could hang it up again, just so it's at the bottom, we appreciate it. That really, normally January is a different meeting. I think we know that where there's a lot more in person moving from table to table, and we can't really do that this year. So, you know, that's a really important 6 questions that we need you to answer this year. So, anything else from anybody else before we move on to purple bag?
No, people want to win their prizes.
Okay, so we got 3 prizes today. First one is tickets to the farm for Sunflower Fest or Fall, so a family outing in the fall. Second is a bunch of jams, a 3-pack of jams from the farm. And the third is really cool, and I'm sorry I cannot win it, is from Andrea Liquid Art from the Log Cabin Art Gallery in Irondequoit. She donated a really amazing prize for December. So she is our 3rd prize today. So when you're answering in the chat, please list the number to the question. So question 1, so 1, and then your answer. And then the first one, we'll go from there. Is everybody ready? Drum roll. Jess is gonna be monitoring this while I'm answering. Okay.
Now remember the rules from last year. If this is your first time, to be eligible to win, you have to put the number 1 for the first question and then the answer. And then for the second question, number 2 and the answer. And the first person to answer correctly will win the prize.
And so if you were paying attention, this first question was actually answered at the beginning of the meeting. The Visitor Industry Council this year is 40 years old. Who was the first VIC chair?
Good question.
Not yet. Nope, it wasn't Craig.
No, Michael. You're on some kind of roll for winning
Michael,
prizes.
Woohoo!
I actually delayed myself because I was hoping people would know.
Yes, Ed Pero was our first VIC chair, and I think he had a 2-year term. That was before there was like a vice. So he really helped shape what we are today.
Someone had to kick it off, yes.
Okay, so this one's gonna be a little bit harder. It's me more guessing or Googling quickly, whoever can type fast. So question number 2, put number 2 in the chat. The weather's a bit unusual right now, so I wanted to do some weather related stuff. I mean, we had sun, we had sleet, we had some snow today. Now it's cloudy, whatever. In what year did Rochester see the lowest snow totals of 41 inches? See, this is really hard.
It's not over yet. It's what season? What winter season?
Oh, what winter season? Okay, so, well, what winter year season?
Yeah.
There you go, John Stone got it. 1952, 1953. 41 inches. So do we want 41 inches this year? We want more? Less?
A nice snowfall is romantic, I think.
The ski resort.
Yeah, I think we got to get our 100 inches in.
I agree. The
It
farmers.
all depends on if you want to build a snowman. Sorry.
Okay, question number 3 and last question, and this is for the artwork. In which year, so it'll be 2 years, did Rochester see the highest snow totals of 161.7 inches? Nope. Nope.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I remember 1977. Not right, though.
They're not even really close.
How did Doug
Oh,
do?
there we go. Doug Dorr. Yep, 1959, 1960. We got 161 inches of snow. I don't think we're going to get that now, which is fine. We've just moved on from it, but we could use a little bit more snow.
But we will remember your words at the next meeting, right?
Well, hey, with Zoom, we'll never, what do we have? One missed meeting because of snow. Is that correct?
Yes.
That could never happen again, right? They said no more snow days for schools, no more snow days for VIC.
Exactly.
Meeting virtually doesn't impact us as much, does it?
It does not. All right, so that concludes our meeting, and on to networking time for whoever's in the line.